Good day everyone. Today I'm going to show you more or less what to expect when doing your motorcycle license testing. So this is the actual physical test. This is after you've already had your learner's license for a while and you've booked your test. And then on the test day you are going to phase out and do your actual test. So there's basically 7 maneuvers that you have to do. The last maneuver can be up to 3 or 4 or 5 different times that you have to do it. I'll explain that later. But basically, firstly, listen very well to what the test official tells you. He will go through it every time and tell you exactly what he expects, which lines you're allowed to touch and which not. So just take care to listen properly and understand what he wants. Usually, all the boundary lines you are not allowed to touch during any time in the test, except the back boundary line when you turn around and go out, or the front boundary line, also if you need to turn around. But the official will very clearly tell you. And don't just do something, rather ask if you're unsure, because if you touch any boundary line that you're not allowed to, you will get failed immediately. So firstly, they will probably ask you to start here at this point here. Drive between these two lines. You have to pass between this line and that line. You will see later in the rest of the video, this is marked C and B, the line in between. So you have to pass through this at an average speed of 20 to 25 kilometers per hour. After that, start slowing down and then stop with your front wheel on this point here. Now, don't look down immediately to see if you've done it correctly, because the official will record this as losing balance and you will lose up to 5 points. So just sit tight and wait for him to come check your wheel. If he's not satisfied, you get 2 more attempts. If he's fine with the way you've done it, he will ask you to proceed to the next maneuver. The second maneuver will probably be starting at this point here, driving straight, doing a left-hand turn in between these two lanes, stopping here. There's a stop sign here. You will see in the video. I'm going to show you a bit later. And then you turn left again and exit here at the back to turn around and start here again. In the video, you will see I will show you exactly when to do observations, when to indicate and what to do. But just for some basic information for now, when you pass here, for this maneuver, you are allowed to touch these lines, but you're not allowed to touch the boundary line. You're not allowed to touch this curved line or this curved line. At the stop, you have to stop before that line and do your observations again before you indicate and turn left towards the back end again. So the third maneuver will usually be a right-hand lane change. So you will also again start here, drive between these lines, and before you get to this line at the end here, you have to do a S-curve right-left maneuver and park here in this block here. If you touch this line, you will fail. If you touch that line, you will fail. So do the maneuver before you actually get to this line, you will also fail. So maneuver 4 is usually the right hand or left hand speed turn. So if it's the left hand speed turn, you start with your front wheel on this. The test official will usually tell you in this case that you're allowed to put your back wheel outside of this boundary line. Otherwise your front wheel won't be able to get on this line. Do your observations, pull away, try to stay as close to this line as possible. Move through these lines. Basically, on an average, from that your front will touch this line until it touches that line, it must be 20 to 25 kilometers per hour. And then exit here and stop with your front wheel on that or as close to this mark again. The test official will probably tell you do it as fast as possible, but 20 to 25 kilometers per hour will be a pass on this maneuver. Rather take it a bit slower. If you are a bit too slow, you will get another chance to try again. But if you go too fast and clip one of the lines, if you clip a line, either this inside or outside line, you will fail immediately. The maneuver after that will be the same, but to the other side. So you're going to start here, go through here, and stop here again. Then the final, and for me, that's probably the most difficult maneuver, is the emergency brake, or swerve to the left, swerve to the right. There will be traffic light signal system on this end with a red stoplight or a yellow or orange left hand or right hand indicator. You're going to start here, drive between the lines. You have to again pass between these two lines at an average of 20 to 25 kilometers per hour. The moment your wheel passes that line, throttle off and watch this light. If it goes red, it will probably go red before you hit this line. You have to do emergency stop and stop as soon as you can. And basically, he will come measure to see how far you've gone over this line, and that's points. You'll see there's 5, 10, and 15 points as you go on. If you don't stop before you actually get here, it's a fail. But usually one stop, if you can ride properly, you'll be able to stop more or less in this vicinity. If the light goes orange to the left, do a S-curve swerve to the left, try to not hit this line, but it's not really possible. That's only points. It's not a fail. Do not hit this line or that line. That's a fail. So swerve to the left and come park in this block here. If the right hand light goes on, swerve to the right and park in this block here. Don't touch that line and don't touch that line. Do not try to anticipate, because he can maybe do stop, left and right, or right, left, stop, and it doesn't necessarily mean if he's done a maneuver that he can't do it again. So don't think, for example, he's already done the stop or the left or the right, he's not going to do that again. In my test, when I went, I had to do the emergency stop twice. So he almost caught me out of that, because I thought, okay, nothing else can happen except the left or the right, because I've already done the emergency stop, and then he hit the emergency stop again, and I almost did it wrong. So don't anticipate. Let your muscle memory take over. Just watch the light and do whatever you know you need to do. After that is done, and you haven't accumulated too many points by not doing your observations, etc., you will basically pass. Listen very carefully to the instructions from the official on your way back to where you have to go park your bike. A lot of times there's a stop street or something on the way, and you're relieved. You think, I'm done with the test now, and then you don't adhere to other road markings or things, and they will fail you on that, even though the actual test is done. So listen carefully to these instructions or her instructions. Go park your bike and process your license. Just note that before or maybe after you do the actual ground test showed on this plan, the official will ask you to do a pull away on a hill or a hill start pull away. There again, you have to stop, observe, indicate if you have to turn after the hill start, and then pull away without rolling back. If you roll, you will get failed immediately. But in my case, I had to do it before the actual ground test started. Maybe in some areas or some testing stations, it will be done afterwards. So test official will be very clear on when you have to do what. I will now show you the videos of actual practice and training. Please take note of the captions that I've inserted on exactly when to indicate and when to observe and which observations to do. Before I now show you the actual practice videos of what to do, I'm going to quickly just take you through these immediate fails. I'm not going to go through everything. You can read through this on your own time. You can pause the screen if you need more time to read through this. But please take note of these things. This inspection for mounting or the dismounted inspection will happen right before the whole test start. So please just go through that, make sure that you know what to do, what to check, and very importantly, your helmet must be off or like in your hand, not on the bike, in your hand preferably, while you're doing this inspection, but you have to put it on before you get on. If you get on the bike without putting a helmet on, you will either lose a lot of points or you might even get failed.
Left hand turn. Right hand lane change. Left hand speed turn. Right hand speed turn.